Hello, everyone, and welcome to ChitChats and Crowns. Today, I will be doing free coaching for everyone that's here. Also, I'll be answering some questions that were sent to me on Instagram. I'm going to try to do this every once in a while. It's my way to get back to the community because I am so grateful of where my life is right now and everything that I manifested so far. So I feel like this is a way for me to be grateful and show gratitude based on everything that I've manifested to get other people to know that they can manifest whatever it is that they want. So, welcome, guys. Thank you for being here. And you can start giving me whatever questions you want. If not, I'll start looking up some of the questions I got on Instagram. But if you guys have questions, then jump in. And remember, this is like a coaching session. So, the more information you give me, the more I can analyze it, the better I can answer you. You can also feel free to hop onto the stage. Just raise your hand and I can add you to the stage so you can talk to me directly. I do one-on-one coaching through phone calls, but for some people it might be pricey. So this is also a way for me to get back to the community if you guys want to talk to me directly. So if you want to jump on the stage, just raise your hand. All right, so we have a question. Oh, wait, somebody is asking. Well, let me answer the question from S first because she asked first. All right. So the question says, and the whole information that she gives is, so I have recently given my competitive exams with not very well preparation. And of course, my exams didn't go well. I just gave them for the sake of it. I somewhere down the line know I will fail, but I still want to pass in those exams. Anyhow, they are important for my career. Can you guide me on how I can manifest passing it even after I have given it just like that? First of all, you would have to remove the notion that you are going to fail, which is going to be the most challenging aspect for you because you already have that assumption that you are going to fail because you didn't study or because of whatever. See, we put those blocks and we put those limiting beliefs of us thinking, well, if I didn't study, then it's obviously that I'm going to fail. That's the belief system that you have. So, in order for you to be able to manifest good grades, you would probably have to work on that belief that you're already smart enough to pass any exam without even studying. Because why wouldn't you be able to pass knowing that you have been in the classes and you paid attention in the classes and that you were good at listening? See, people that are very good at talking like their inner conversations are like, well, I'm just straight up a straight A student because I just have like photographic memory, or I'm just very good at remembering things. I just need to pay attention in class. I never need to study. Those inner conversations matter. So whatever belief you have about studying and like, oh, if I don't study, then I'm not going to pass. If I don't do this, then I'm not going to pass. So you're already putting those limitations upon yourself, which makes you have this 3D that you're seeing where you don't pass exams unless you study. So whatever exceptions we make to our reality, those are the exceptions we're going to go by. So we're always gonna, like, if we don't study, if I don't study, then I'm just not gonna get a good grade. Then if you don't study, that's exactly what's gonna happen because you're already putting that limitation upon yourself. It's different when someone says, like, no, you know what, I'm always good. I paid attention in class. That's all I need. I'm telling you, I was the type of person that I didn't study until I got to the university and I was a straight A student and I always got certificates of excellence. Like I was always like top student. And I never studied until I got to college. I did have to study my ass off because my beliefs changed. My beliefs changed because I would think the university is a lot harder than regular, than like, being in high school, being in elementary. I ended up changing that belief. So it became harder for me to just pass exams at the university. And mind you, I went to two different universities, got two different degrees. Now, once I got my second degree at a second university, my belief system had completely changed. I was like, "Ugh, school is a piece of fucking cake. I don't need to study." I never studied for tests when it came to the second university because to me, it was like I pay attention in class, so I got amazing grades. So it really is all about your belief system. Doesn't mean like, oh, you never have to study. Well, like it depends on your belief system. Like if you believe you need to study really hard, then you're gonna need to study really hard. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. I'm telling you, I had the belief in my second degree that I didn't really need to study hard. I was just so fucking smart that I don't need to study hard. And I got good grades. All right. Let me continue reading what she says. That way I can continue with the other one. Also, without passing these exams that I have given, I have to go back to my home city. Then I will be away from ISP. So that's also a worry on my mind. Me passing in those exams is very important for me to stay with him. Well, that's another issue. You're making it something very impossible and you're giving it so much importance that you're already setting yourself up for failure. Like, I'm gonna fail, so all of this bad shit is going to happen. So you're continuing to think about all the bad shit that's going to happen if you don't pass these exams. So it makes it worse. It just makes it a lot worse because you're not thinking, you're no longer now focusing on like, okay, I'm going to pass, I'm going to have an excellent life, my life is great. You're no longer focusing on what you want, instead you're focusing on exactly on what you don't want. So you're making it a lot worse for yourself, completely worse. So you're not, the worry plus the limiting beliefs you have, they're going to stack up against you. So the only way to fix this is you have to self-regulate, you have to regulate your emotions, your nervous system. So, and however you want to do it, like I said, I'm always an advocate for EFT because that drops your limiting beliefs and your resistance. I always recommend Brad Yates, but you need to relax. If you don't know how to relax and you don't know how to trust and you don't assume in your favor and you keep focusing on everything that could go wrong, it's going to go wrong for you. It just is. Like, there's everything that you don't want to happen will happen because you're so focused and looping everything that you don't want. My life is just incredible right now. Like, I swear, life is awesome. Okay, Shampoo says, I sort of have a stalker and I'm scared of harm. I want this person to not exist at all, like disappear from my reality. How do I do this? Usually, the way to make anyone disappear is by you not putting your attention or focus on them, because the only reason anyone exists in your reality is due to your focus on that particular situation or person. So nothing will disappear from your reality as long as you have energy and focus on that person, thing, or circumstance. So it's a matter of like you feeling safe with who you are, you feeling safe in general, and you pretty much being able to think, I'm just divinely protected, I'm divinely safe. So there's nothing that could go wrong, nothing that could happen to me because this is my reality. And focus on things that you want rather on focusing on that person that's giving you a problem. This person is no longer in my reality. They are away from my reality. The more focus you give to them, the more worried you get, the more they're going to exist because it's energy. Well, the more, like I said, the more you think about them and the more you're worried, the more they'll be prominent in your reality. And in fact, the more fearful you become, the more you enhance the issue and the more you become kind of like, the more scared you are of that person, the more you're feeding energy into that person and into that situation that you're having. So, yeah, like it's counterproductive. Would I tell you to stop being careful? No. I think you should still like be aware of your surroundings. I think you should still be, putting your boundaries. I still think you should, tell people like, hey, this person makes me uncomfortable. And always like say, the people around me always make me feel safe. People around me are always protecting me. So that way you have people around you that will always take care of you. And that way you can also assume that, well, I'm only surrounded by people that make me feel safe. So this person is automatically, because you're going to have that new assumption, that person is automatically going to leave your reality, because no one around you that doesn't make you feel safe can stay in your reality. Does that make sense? So should I just simply assume I will pass my exams and loop it? I already told you, you have to do self-regulate because you're a nervous wreck. You're not going to be able to manifest if you're a nervous wreck. You don't feel safe right now. You don't feel safe that you're going to pass. You don't feel safe because you keep looping all of the situations that can happen if you don't pass the exam. So if you don't feel safe, there's no freaking way you're going to be able to assume positive stuff. You're not going to be able to. Is when your nervous system doesn't feel safe, it's not going to want to think anything positive. It's not going to want to think or assume anything in your favor. It's going to think it's a lie and it's going to want to fight you. So the first thing you have to do, I told you this, you have to self-regulate. How you do that, but you can loop all day long. But if you don't feel safe and you're feeling anxious and you feel worried, you're feeling depressed and everything, you're not going to be able to assume in your favor. You're just not going to be able to do it because it becomes hard when you're feeling fucking depressed and anxious and annoyed with life. You're very welcome. Yeah, like I said, just be aware of your surroundings. Doesn't mean that you get to like lower your guard or anything like that, because remember, you still have old assumptions that you have to deal with. And the old assumptions are that, you don't feel safe. I would also recommend for you as well to do EFT or to do something to regulate your nervous system to make you feel safe. That wherever you live, you are safe. Wherever you dwell, wherever you travel to, you're just safe. If you're feeling safe, you're going to be able to think in your favor as well. And you're going to be able to think that people are not here to hurt you or wish you harm, because we have been taught that people can hurt you, people can wish you wrong. And the more we stay in that, the more we're going to experience things like that. All right, Kenza, Melly, today I let myself get triggered. My SP that lives with me has gone for 14 days to his hometown to see his family. We didn't talk a lot and it didn't trigger me since I said that he will miss me and it's a good opportunity to affirm and all. The problem is that I have checked his Instagram and seen that he has added new women that also added him back, and that I had still past negative thoughts of like him using again the Tinder application or things like that, even if I use revision saying that this has never happened. Anyway, I cried because I felt triggered seeing those women and I gave my power to the circumstances. I feel bad about it. Of course, I love my SP and know that he is a reflection, and really I believe about manifestation and all. I don't want to, of course, talk about this with him because I know that it's old news. The trigger is a good thing because the trigger is telling you what assumptions you still need to change. So, one thing that this is telling me is that you still went and stalked his Instagram because you were expecting to see something bad, whether you accept that or not. Because you went there and you were thinking, let me go see what he's doing. Let me make sure he's not being a bad boy or a naughty boy. Even if you were thinking, like, let me just go prove to myself that he's not being a naughty boy, and you found out that he was being a naughty boy after all. So what that trigger is telling you and what that action is telling you is that you still do not trust the manifestation, and you're not trusting that he is the new version that wants to be with you, the new version that does not need to be entertained by other women, the other version that does not need validation from other women. So that's telling me that that trigger's telling you actually that you need to change that assumption, that he does not need validation from other women. He doesn't even need other women because all the validation he needs is from you. And that's what that trigger's telling you. The other thing that trigger's telling you is that you're assuming you're not someone he can miss because, oh, you spend too much time with him, so he's probably bored of you. That's what that trigger is telling you, that's what the assumption that you're having. It's that, oh, like he's spending too much time with me, so like him not talking to me means that he needed a break from me. So you need to change that assumption to like, he cannot spend time without me. Like being without me is like, oh, he's missing air. He cannot breathe when he's like away from me because I am just like the person that he loves. I'm the person who makes him happy. I'm the person who like makes his day. I'm the person who energizes him. It's just like, oh my God, he cannot breathe without me. He loves talking to me. When he's away, he just wants to be closer to me. So you need to change that assumption if that's what you want. Or, like you said, you might need to work on your insecurities still because your insecurities are still there and you really haven't dropped them. Like I said, I always tell you guys don't need coaching. You can use ChatGPT to find your limiting beliefs. Talk to ChatGPT, tell them what's going on, and say, based on the law of assumption, give me questions to find out what limiting beliefs I'm still holding that's creating this reflection. So you can always do that. I always tell you guys you don't need to pay for coaching. That's what ChatGPT is there for. Um, find out why you're still so insecure. Because the fact that he is still liking other women's Instagrams and other women are actually also adding him is still attached to you, still assuming that he's still the old version of him, especially because you said that you're afraid that he might go back to using Tinder, which again has to do with your insecurity of you not being chosen, you not feeling chosen, or if you feeling like he's already bored with you. Like he's hasn't chosen you as his life partner or sees you as like the love of his life for sure. And like I said, you can ask ChatGPT to find what those limiting beliefs are. And then once you find those limiting beliefs, you can decide, and you really have to decide whether you're ready to let go of those limiting beliefs. Once you're aware, here's what Frederick Dodson said. Frederick Dodson said to drop limiting beliefs, all you need to do is be aware of them and decide if you want to keep believing that or not. That's how easy dropping a limiting belief is. Does that make sense, Kenza? All right, let's see. I don't know how to pronounce your little squiggly name. So unless you tell me your name, I'm not going to say because it's just this little squiggly thing. Is it ethical to okay, just call me B. All right. All right, B. Is it ethical to manifest someone being obsessed with you? I would recommend not. And I know sometimes I say like, oh, he's obsessed with me, but I would say like if you're going to use obsession, say it in perfect ways so it doesn't like counteract. Obsession is kind of dangerous if you do not give obsession meaning. So I'm telling you this because I had a client who was not very good at giving meaning to her affirmations. And she told me, and I knew it because I had been coaching her for so long. And she's like, oh, like can you please, can I manifest that my specific person is obsessed with me? And I was like, no, don't do that. Because the way that she wanted to affirm him being obsessed was dangerous. And I was like, I would suggest you do not do that. Please do not manifest that he's obsessed with you because of the toxic way she thought about obsession and how she wanted him to be obsessed with her. So I suggested for her not to do it, but she went and did it anyway. A month later, she came back to me very scared, telling me that her SP had become super toxic, obsessive, where if she did not answer her text in the next 5 minutes, he would he would blow up on her. He would be like, "Where are you? Why aren't you answering me? Are you with another man?" Like this girl would like not cheat on him because she was like so fucking in love with him. Yet he became this ball of toxicity. But I already knew that was gonna happen, and that's why I told her not to do it because her definition of obsession was toxic. She had explained to me how she wanted to see him. I was like, that's toxic. That's not a harmonious relationship. That's not a safe relationship because you want your partner to trust you. I want my partner to trust me. I don't want my partner to be like, just because I don't answer his phone call because maybe I'm busy or because I don't answer his text in the next 5 minutes that he's going to think that I'm cheating on him. That's like the worst thing to want, like for your partner not to trust you. Same way, I want to trust my partner. Like, I don't want to be obsessed in that way where I'm like, where are you? How come he's not answering? Maybe he's cheating on me. Maybe he's online. Maybe he's on Instagram. You want harmony in the relationship. You want ease in the relationship. You want fun in the relationship. You want excitement. You want love. You want joy. You want trust. You don't, obsession, if you don't know how to give it a good meaning, and most people don't, obsession can become very fucking dangerous. And that's what happened with her. Her SP became very dangerous. Her SP just started blowing up on her very bad, started to treat her really bad because just because maybe she wouldn't answer the phone, just small, small things. So I always suggest, please do not manifest obsession, manifest harmony in the relationship, manifest a harmonious relationship, manifest a lovely relationship, manifest an easy relationship where you feel safe, where you feel adored. Those are way better things to manifest than obsession. Obsession is it's just a very exotic word that people try to use, like, oh, he's so obsessed with me, like, but it obsession is not the same as feeling safe with someone, as feeling like loved by someone and adored by someone and just like feeling so good with being with someone. Obsession doesn't make, it's not going to guarantee that you're going to feel safe with that person. So I would suggest no. All right, let's see. Dre says, hi Melly. What about my SP who is verbally mean? Says rude statements. What belief should I change? Should I do no contact, or if I reply, how? When and a specific person is being rude to you or being like emotionally or verbally abusive, you have to think, what is my identity? Is my identity someone that gets pushed over, who's a doormat, who like allows all of these things to happen? Then you're gonna want to ask yourself, do I want to keep being this person? Obviously, if you're in a harmonious, wonderful relationship, who are you being in order to align yourself to that relationship where there's harmony, where there is you feeling amazing, with that partner? So you have to think about it that way. Me being in that identity means that I'm very confident, that I'm respected, that I am someone that they find worthy of respect. So sometimes when we are being mistreated by a specific person, and again, I want to reiterate, just because everyone is you pushed out is at play doesn't mean it's your fault. It's just that it's showing you things and traits that you need to change about yourself in order for your reality to change. This is not about the blame game and saying like I deserve to be treated that way. It's not true. You definitely don't deserve a relationship where they're treating you like crap, and that's what this is showing you. You don't deserve that. So what do you need to do in order to show your subconscious that you don't deserve a relationship like this? Well, that's for you to decide. What would the you who already had a perfect relationship be doing? Would she be allowing herself to be treated this way by someone just because they love that person? Probably not. If you were in love with yourself and you were so respectful to yourself, would you allow anyone to come in, treat you in the way that this person is treating you? Absolutely not. If I love myself so much and if I don't treat myself in that way, why would I allow someone else to come in and do that? Now, am I staying because I am so afraid to lose this person and I'd rather lose myself and I'd rather keep being mistreated? Then you're telling your subconscious, I am okay with this reality. I am okay with this version of this person who mistreats me. So at that point, you're not being the identity of a person who gets respected or who's aligning to a relationship where there's harmony, because you are allowing yourself to stay there in that reality that you don't want to be in because you would rather settle to not lose a person. And that's what most people do. They rather settle to not lose the person that they're with because they love the person way more than they love themselves. They love the person way more than they love the new story that they want. They're just so afraid to lose the person that they would rather stay in that reality than risk the possibility, because that's in their mind. Their mindset goes that way. But at the end of the day, you're just going to keep living in a reality where you're miserable, where they're treating you like trash. And it's just going to get worse because your assumptions are going to keep telling you, why am I putting up with this? Why am I doing this? Why do they treat me this way? Why is nothing changing? And so it's just going to get worse from there. And then not just your love and your like relationships are going to go to shit. Every other aspect in your life is going to get worse too, because you're going to start to feel like nothing is working out for me. And you're going to start seeing a decline in other parts of your reality because you're accepting that type of reality. You're not doing anything to change it. So, my suggestion is if this person continues to disrespect you, you can talk it out like adults and just be like, hey, I don't like the way you talk to me. That's not acceptable. If the person laughs or is not accepting to what you're saying and is not respecting it, then you have a choice to make. Do you choose you in the new reality that you want with a version of them that is going to respect you? Or do you stay because you don't want to lose them and you would rather lose yourself and be miserable? Because if that was me, I would be like, okay, let's sit down, let's talk. Hey, I do not appreciate the way you're speaking to me. It's not acceptable. This needs to stop. If the person tells me, "Huh, well, that's not going to happen because that's just how I am," then this relationship is not going to work out. And if that person says, then you know what, pack your bags, or you know what, then this relationship's over. Okay, well, thank you very much for the time you have given me, for the time we have been together. This has shown me so much. I wish you nothing but the best. Goodbye. Because that version is not a version that I want. It's not a version that aligns to a version of me who loves me, who appreciates me. It's not a version of me and not a version of him that I want. So why would I put up with it? Why would I do that? I would rather go cut it off, not talk to that version anymore because it's not the version that I want. And I would rather have a clean mental diet, a strict mental diet, where I am aligning with a version of them that I truly, truly love, that I love being around. That's going to make me feel safe. That's going to make me feel loved and adored. So if it were me, yes. If this person is not going to respect me and is not going to talk to me in the right manner and is going to keep verbally abusing me or emotionally abusing me, then I want nothing to do with them. It's that simple. It just makes no sense to stay with someone that makes me feel like crap every day. Because if I'm making myself feel elevated, if I'm here working on myself, if I'm here glowing up, why am I going to allow anybody else to bring me down? And that includes someone that I could love. That could be my SP, and I don't care. That I'm not going to lose myself over a specific person. I have learned that now. Like, my specific person can decide to tell me I don't longer want to be with you, and I would survive. I would not like be dying for it. But I know, because it's my reality and I create what I want. I know 100% that I get to choose the version of this person and I get to choose the version of me that I want to experience. So that's what I would do. I mean, I'm not telling you to go no contact or to do, I mean, that's your choice, but that's what I would do. B is asking, in circumstances where you feel your partner is bored with you or used to you after being with you for a long time, how can you flip to something better? Like, what assumptions should you have? My SP is never bored of me. My SP always finds me exciting. My SP always finds new stuff to love about me. My specific person is always finding new ways to love me. In fact, I fall more and more in love with my specific person every single day. My specific person makes me fall in love with him more and more every single day. Our love just keeps growing, our bond keeps growing deeper. And we are always finding new and exciting stuff about each other. And I'm telling you, because I've tried these affirmations, I'm always finding new stuff about my specific person that I love. So you have to create the assumptions that you want to experience. I always tell myself, I always have those inner conversations with myself. Like, my SP is always finding new stuff to love about me. I'm falling more and more in love with my SP every day because I also want to feel love towards him every day. Another thing I do is I spice our sex life up with affirmations. So I'm always saying, like, our sex life is always different and exciting. Our sex life is always so passionate and booming, and we love our sex life, and every time it's something new. And I'm telling you, our sex life is never boring. We're always like, wow, that was completely new. So we're always finding new stuff, and that's because of my affirmations or my inner conversations about it. I always like think, oh, my SP is always finding new things that he finds sexy about me, or the sex life that we have is so exciting to him, like he doesn't need to look elsewhere for it. It's all about how the experiences you want to have. Says, thank you a lot, Melly. You have really touched me in the heart because that's true. I'm jumping between two states, and I think, and this is what is the cause of all of this. I affirm that he is obsessed with me since a long time, but didn't have this effect. Telling you, obsession is not what you guys think. There's a difference, especially if you don't even know. I always tell you guys, affirmations mean jack shit if you're not giving it meaning. Would you mind giving us a short rundown of what obsession meant to her, just to be aware? Yeah, the client that I said that was affirming for obsession, she was wanting that her boyfriend be extremely jealous, overprotective of her, and that would just be calling her nonstop, which he did, and a few other things that to me were just toxic. But mostly that he was extremely jealous of her because he would never be jealous of her, I guess, and she wanted to experience that. I don't know why the fuck people think that jealousy is like it's like some cute thing. I mean, I get like when your boyfriend's a little protective of you or like a little jealous, it's kind of cute, but it can get really toxic. So like it's better for a partner to trust you rather than having a partner who's constantly going to give you shit because you're not answering your phone every 5 minutes. So or telling you like, oh, you must be cheating on me. You must be doing this. Like it's not fun to have a partner that is constantly claiming. I see this in women too. Women who are very jealous. It's not cute to have a partner who keeps telling you, you're cheating on me. You're probably doing this with this man or this girl. You're probably doing that. Like it's not fun. If you're not doing anything wrong and you're being told by someone that you probably are being a cheater or you're being fucking shady, you think that's like a good thing to hear from your partner? No, it's not cute. It's not cute. So those were some of the things. She had other things that just seemed very toxic too, though. All right. This is B still. I used to have this mindset for a long while that you explained. That was the time when I had the healthiest and most enjoyable relationships I had, not accepting less than what I wanted. Yeah, you have to. You have to, because if you don't, you end up settling, and settling makes you a really crabby person. Settling makes you a really annoying, whiny little baby. All right, Dre says, you nailed it. And I did have that conversation, and he laughed and he said he didn't care. I kind of figured if he was treating you this way, then kind of made me think that he was not on the very caring end, like he's taking you for granted right now. But that's probably the version that has been building up, you know. And you are right. The rest of my life has not been going great because of the stress of this. I kept asking myself, what should I do? And joining this live gave me my answer. Going no contact. Thank you so much. It's not that you're never gonna see this person again, or if this person right now when you go no contact, if they tell you, well, I don't give a crap, like I'm just gonna start dating, even if you see them dating or whatever, I want you to understand that's the old version. That's the old version that built up until right now. As soon as you start working on your identity and you start working on your self concept and you start thinking, like, I deserve this and this and this, I deserve this type of relationship, you start writing down the type of relationship that you want to experience and the person you need to become to align to the version that will match that new version of that person that you want to that new you, you're going to start seeing the changes within you. And this person, this SP, will start to match the experiences that you want to have. Now, you also have to remember it's not just about self concept, it's also about everyone as you pushed out. Sometimes we work on self concept and forget about everyone as you pushed out, meaning that sometimes you can work on thinking that you're the best thing, since sliced bread, or you're the last Coca Cola on the desert, but you forget about everyone as you pushed out. Meaning that if you're not assuming that he's an amazing boyfriend or that he can be that, or the assumption that he is no longer needing to have or be validated by other women, and you don't change and drop those beliefs that you have about him as he is right now, then your self concept could be great, but it's not going to affect him. And you're still going to see the old version of him because everyone as you pushed out also matters. If you still want this person to align to a better version of him, then you need to drop everything wrong that he's ever did in your mindset. I'm not telling you be with him right now. I'm just telling you that while you're away from him, you have to forgive and let go of the old stories. You can't keep thinking like, okay, let me go check what he's doing. He's probably dating other women. He's probably having a good time. No, you can't. Those assumptions you would not be able to have if your goal is to one day align to a better version of him. And if you don't, you just want to focus on you. Don't focus on him at all. Don't think about him at all. If he does come to your mind, just think good things, loving thoughts. I send him love. I radiate love to him and just work on you. And that's enough. If you keep thinking that he's a piece of shit, that he's not a great boyfriend, that he was sucky and all of that, then you're still going to see the old version of him, even though you are leveling up. So you have to be careful with that as well. All right, let's see. Kenza says, I have a question, Melly. Is it possible to delete all the negative circumstances that happened before with SP? When I affirm that we always have been perfect and happy together, I have people coming to us telling us, you're so perfect and a beautiful couple. But I have been caught up in 3D and my negative feelings that I forgot this little success. Yeah, you can. Every vision works as it should work. Revision works in the way where it's like if you stop giving energy to the old shit, then it's not going to exist. Whatever you don't give energy to is just not going to exist anymore. It only exists because you give it energy. So the less you focus on that thing that you don't want to exist, it's done. It's over. Like nothing can come back unless you're putting your energy on it in some way. B says, this reminds me, sorry for the TMI, but my ex was a person who I'd say is insanely physically attracted to me, to a point he doesn't think about anyone else ever sexually other than me. It went really weird lengths, but I didn't really feel love, emotions, feeling of being priority and care for him. Honestly, it just felt like he is extremely lustful towards me. I don't want to repeat this pattern in my future. How do I make sure this doesn't happen? Then you have to stop identifying like as a sexual object. And you have to stop, it's everyone just you pushed out. You have to stop thinking that people only want that from you. The reason why anyone would feel that towards you or you thinking that you're just a sexual object is because you're seeing them as untrustworthy people or untrustworthy men or that's all that men want. So that's a belief that you need to drop. All right, Kenza says, thank you a lot for the answer. Goddess says, with my SP, I have manifested things several times, even seen the negative reflect just as my thoughts were. But I feel like this time I'm feeling this guilt of having lost so much that I manifested. I feel like, why is it taking longer this time? And it will continue taking longer because that's your assumption. Unless you change your assumption that everything works fast for you, that everything that you manifest quickly, that you're always, you're a master manifester and just everything works out for you, it's always going to take longer. That's your assumption. I think you guys don't realize that every little thing or inner conversations that you tend to have matter. Because sometimes you don't even understand how many times you guys are repeating the same thing over and over. This isn't working out for me. Your identity is someone whose shit doesn't work out for. Because you're not realizing that your inner conversations most of the day are that things are not working out for you, that things are taking long. So unless you guys change that, unless you guys change your assumption, so it's not going to work. You're going to keep continue getting more and more delays. You're going to keep blocking more and more stuff. You guys think that I ever say this is taking long? Hell no. Because I don't want it to take long. I never say shit's taking long. I'm always like, this shit is working out for me. I'm the best. I'm the best manifester. Everything's working out for me. I manifest so quickly. Everything works out for me so fast. And it does because I keep my inner conversations straight to what I want, not to what I don't want. If you are complaining about something, that complaint has power. Something's taking too long, guess what? You're complaining about it and it has power and it's taking long because that's your assumption. Is something not working out for you? Something's not manifesting well, everything else is? Check your complaints during the day because you're probably complaining about it. Anything else, you guys? All right, Kenza says, I have a friend that has a tumor in her breast. I want to know if you know about any success stories or else about healing. Yeah, there's plenty. On Reddit, I've seen a few people talk about healing cancer. If you go on YouTube, there's a bunch of success stories on Dr. Joe Dispenza testimonials where they healed from that. Actually, his book, Becoming Supernatural, talks about a lady who ended up getting super sick after her husband committed suicide. So her identity became the suicide of her husband. She became someone that, was tied to only that. So she became very sick. I think she even had a tumor. That tumor, I don't know if it was in her throat, if I remember correctly, where she couldn't even eat. She had to eat with a tube. She ended up in a wheelchair. She ended up losing her work job. Her job was her life was just a complete mess, and she was extremely, extremely unhealthy. So she started doing meditation, and I think after a year of meditating, and I think we all know that meditation, what it does is just it calms you, it makes your mind go blank. And because a lot of our problems are due because we overthink. We're constantly overthinking about the circumstances that we're in. So meditation allows you that time to go really blank and just like not think, which allows your manifestation to happen faster rather than delay it. So she meditated for a whole year and she became healthy again. Like her tumor disappeared, whatever other problems that she had disappeared. She ended up having a new practice and she ended up doing very good for her life. You can read it in Becoming Supernatural. It's the first chapter of that book. It's really nice. Any practical suggestions for how to actually assume you have it and live as if? Like, no, there's just you have it or you don't. This always confuses me. How do I actually accept I have it, especially regarding SPs? It takes repetition. You're not going to believe you have it or that it's yours like the first 2 days of it, or just because you do one full day of affirming, doesn't mean that you're going to accept it. I mean, it takes a lot of repetition. The more you become in tune and the more you practice having a good mental diet, having a good mindset, the easier it will become to accept assumptions and the faster it will get. But in the meantime, things that you find difficult to accept, it might take a lot longer. We have Neville Goddard as an example when he was first starting and he first wanted to go to Barbados. He did not manifest it in a day or 2 days. He kept going to Abdullah to go over his doubts. Like, how do I still don't believe. How am I going to go to Barbados? I have no money. He was like, shut the fuck up, keep persisting. And he shut the fucking door. He's like, keep saying you're already in Barbados. That was it. That's having it. That's you assuming you already have it. That's what Abdullah told him. You're already in Barbados. Shut the fuck up. Go back home. You're already in fucking Barbados. That's it. That's you having what you want. And Neville kept trying to question, what else do I need to do? Because he thought he needed to do more. And you don't need to do more. It's just you're already in fucking Barbados. Shut the fuck up. That's it. That's it. Nothing more. You're already in Barbados. And it wasn't until Neville repeated it enough times, and he did sats for that. That was his way of manifesting, which is he would calm himself down, he would be relaxed, and then he would imagine himself where he was. And of course, it probably took him a while to accept that that was his truth, but it took him like 3 months. It took him 3 months to accept it. To think like, you know what? I'm calm enough to think that I already have this. Like I'm already in Barbados. 3 months. And that's when he ended up getting his trip to Barbados. So like it's nothing. There's nothing to do other than keep saying we already have it. I already have it. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. Some things you're gonna believe or you're gonna accept as true faster than others. It's just the way that it is. Does hearing your SP saying you loving things in your mind count as inner conversations? Yeah, it does count that as inner conversations. Did you ever feel struggles in imagining your desired reality? I don't use, well, I mean, we can say that thoughts are imagination anyway, but I just think I have it. Like we're always going to struggle with with some things more than not. Like there's just some things that are going to feel like out of our way or our mind wants to reason why you can't have it or why it's hard to have something. Like you can't have that because it took this person this much time to have it, so it's going to take you the same amount of time. Or no, you can't have this because society says you can't. You know, it there's always going to be things that we're going to have a harder time accepting as truth, but that's your challenge. That's where you have to double down and keep saying that I have it, I have it, I have it, I have it. Or like, no, I'm already in Barbados. I'm already in Barbados. I'm already in Barbados. Like there's always going to be certain things that are just going to be easier than others. That's just the way that the law works. And it's the way that our mind is it works too. But I just think, I don't imagine, I don't visualize, I don't do that. It's not my favorite thing to do, so I don't do it. I do what works for me. I only think as if I have it, and I do inner conversations. That's all I do. I don't do anything else because that's my only cup of tea. So you're spot on. That's why I mentally hesitate to imagine and fully immerse myself into imagination. Kenza says, how can we get rid of the fear of losing people we love? It's just something you have to work on. You have to learn how to feel safe within your body, regulate your nervous system. You got to learn how to feel safe. You have to know what makes you feel safe. I know for me, I just do EFT and like I'm very calm after that. Like I do EFT, that works for me. I make myself feel at peace every time that I feel fucking anxious or that I feel like shit could go wrong or that I feel like, oh, this might not work out. My go to is always EFT. I'm always allowing myself to feel safe. Even like with the way things are going right now in the country, I'm doing EFT for like, I live in a safe place. I live in a safe environment. The government's amazing. That's how I am dealing with the situations that are happening here right now. I want to shift to a reality where I could love my government, where I could feel safe living there. I'm doing EFT for that because I don't want to be in a reality where I'm scared to live in a country where I'm scared of my government. If anybody else wants to stay in the reality where the government's a piece of trash, they can stay there, but not me. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to shift. So you're not the person who experiences something within and then reflects. Just think, I hope it makes sense. So you're not the person who experiences something within and then it reflects. I don't understand your question, B. Thank you for everything, Melly. You are so incredible. Thank you, Kenza. You're welcome. If you're the one experiencing everything, yes, like you're the one shifting. You're the one shifting all the realities. So you're picking the reality you want to experience. I don't understand the difference between imagining and thinking. I think it's the same thing, to be honest. But yeah, like I just do inner conversations, for example. No, I don't get mental images. Like I said, I'm not very good at visualizing. Like it's not my cup of tea. Like I don't visualize. Sometimes I think the images might come on their own when I'm like not forcing and they might show up like out of nowhere. and that works. Sometimes it comes like that, but other than that, like, I'm good. I just do my inner conversations. I always think in my favor. My assumptions are always about what I want. And yeah, that works for me. I do what works for me. And what works for me is just that. I manifested everything I wanted with just assumptions, thinking that I have it, and inner conversations. Like people say, you experience something within, then it reflects it. I just can't imagine things. I hesitate and hold myself back. Yeah, I just do inner conversations. I don't complicate myself. I just don't complicate myself. I just pretty much think I already have it. Like I'm always in my mind like this is me. This is the identity that I have. The most that I do is that I get really clear on what I want. Okay? Like I get really clear on the experiences that I want to have. So that's the most that I will do is just clarity on what I want in those experiences. And that gives me enough for me to know what the identity of me that I want to have that needs to match that version of those experiences that I want to have. So like how would the me who already had all of this would be acting, thinking, and feeling? That's my focus. That's how I manifest. That's how I do my thing. That's what works for me. So that's what works for me. Good morning. Is it normal to feel like everything is falling apart in manifestation? I have never had that experience, but I know other people that have where like everything seems like it's falling apart. I think even in Jennifer Blanchard's book, she mentioned something like that. She wrote the book of Quantum Leap Your Life and Fuck the How. She mentions that in the book where she says that for some people, will seem to get really, really, really bad before it gets better, especially when you're like becoming into this new identity that you're choosing. So she mentions that there are some people that will go through really like the storm before the calm kind of thing. So sometimes for some people that might be it. It shouldn't last long though. Even if you have circumstances, the circumstances should not last long if you're really focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want. And if you're focusing on the new story. So it shouldn't be taking you long to move out of those circumstances. I do you need training either with a still image or moving on. I honestly don't really care about visualizing overlord. It's just not my preference and I don't really care about it. I manifest in a way that works for me. So I'm not really interested in learning to visualize because it's not something I care about. Same with sats. I really don't care about sats. I don't care about practicing. I don't care about doing it because it's just not something that I find that I want to do. Yeah, okay, good. This dude always just comes in and says other stuff, whatever. Okay, so any you guys have any other questions? I'm feeling charged. You have answered everything in my side. Thank you so much. In 1 week, I'm gonna come with success. Heck yes, you are. I'm telling you, everything is easy. You just gotta make it easy for you. Don't let other people like push you around, tell you that you should manifest in a certain way. Like, screw that. Like, nobody should be telling you how to manifest. Find what works for you. Some people like will journal, some people will do sats. Some people will do belief systems. Some people will do assumptions. Do what works for you. Don't listen to other people like to tell you like this is how you have to do it. Don't even listen to me. Like if you guys don't like doing inner conversations, find something else that you like. If you guys don't like affirmations, find something else that you like to do. Like that's how amazing the law of assumption is. It's because it's whatever you assume to be true or whatever you assume, that's how you can manifest. Like if you assume that you need to do 10,000 repetitions of affirmations, then that's how you're going to have to manifest. It really is all about assumptions. Like whatever you assume to be true, that's it. So I assume that I only need to do inner conversations and that I only need to assume that I have what I want. And that's how I get what I want. Like that's my assumption. That's how I assume that manifestation works in my end. Like that's how, for me, that's how it works. Like I just do mental diet, inner conversations, and assumptions, and that's it. Don't let other people tell you like, "Oh, this is how you have to manifest." Like, screw that. Like, bro, when you come in and you tell me that you manifested a bunch of crap and you manifested whatever you say that you manifested, cool. And if that works for you, then cool. I just never understand why people have to like be like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't do that. You should be doing it this way." Like, who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? Like, this is my reality. I get to decide how the fuck I'm gonna manifest. And you guys should be that same way too. Like, don't tell me, you don't need to tell me how I need to do it. I'm already a master manifester and I know how to do it. And my life is this way. To get a hike in salary in a limited time period, what to think? You would have to think, well, first of all, you have to see what would be blocking you from having that. Like, what are your current assumptions that you're having that would not allow you to have it? Because that's the first thing that I do. It's if I want something, like for me, for example, I wanted to leave my 9 to 5 job and I wanted to make the same or more with only working 20 hours a week. So I started writing all of that down. Okay, I work only 20 hours a week and I make the same or more than if I was working 55 to 60 hours a week in a 9 to 5 job. I don't need to go to an office. I can work from home. And I started writing all the experiences that I wanted to have. I get to wake up late when I want to. I get to do this. I get to have time to go. I get to have time to travel whenever I want. I don't need to respond to a boss. I don't need to do this. And I started to write all of those experiences. After I wrote those experiences, I also wrote what assumptions I had that made me think that I couldn't have that. And so I started to write down, well, I have to trade time for money. I have to have a lot of skill to have my own business. I don't know what type of business I want to have. You have to be lucky to have a business that thrives. You have to have a really great idea to have a business, and I don't have any ideas on what kind of business I want to have. I kept writing all of that stuff, like, oh, business is hard. Being an entrepreneur is very hard. Not everyone makes it. Making money requires a lot of time and effort. I need to have something, a product or a service that people will want for me to trade, for money. So I had to change all of those assumptions and make sure that my inner conversations were no longer that. And then my inner conversations were now, money is easy to come by. I can make money in easy ways. I only work 20 hours and it's easy for me to make the salary that I had or more. Life is just easy for me. And had to write down exactly the new thoughts that the new identity of me would have, the one that would align to someone that doesn't have a 9 to 5 job. So it's the same way that you would have to do it with, if you want a salary hike, you have to find out first what's causing you to think that you can't have it and then change those assumptions. Now it's just how I do it. You guys can go do SATs, but I just don't teach SATs because I don't do SATs. Or you guys can go do other stuff to get you to think that you already have what you want. There's just so many things out there to do. Like You just have to try and see what you like the most. But to me, that's what works. Oh, for me, right? Like I like doing that. Does imaginal scene is imaginal scenes similar to inner conversation? Yeah, that's what someone asked, and before this dude came in and ruined the vibe. This is what ChatGPT said. So thinking is not the same as imagining, but inner conversations equal imagining. So if you're doing them from the end of already having, then inner conversations is the same as imagining. So you don't need to visualize if that's not your style. Neville even said, you do not visualize to see, you visualize to feel. So if your inner conversations make you feel like it's already done, then that is imagining. If your inner talk is like, I love our life together, you always make me feel safe, it's crazy how everything worked out for us, then that's imagining because you're assuming the desired reality as already true. So even here, this is a very important part. A lot of people start getting very anxious and stressed when you start thinking like negative stuff because we call this negative, right? Because that's just what we align it to. Oh, why hasn't he texted me? Maybe I'm not chosen. And then you start feeling guilty that you're thinking those thoughts. But right here, ChatGPT is telling you don't worry about it because that's not imagining it. But when you do it to feel like, I love our life together, you always make me feel so safe. It's crazy how everything worked out for us. It's telling you that's imagining because you're doing it with intention and you're doing it from the intention of already having, which is making you feel it. So, see, like sometimes even when we start to feel guilty about some negative stuff that we have, we don't have to feel guilty. We just have to like go into our inner conversations about what we do want. And those will have a lot more power over the thoughts that you think are negative. It says here, you can manifest using inner speech alone, but make sure you're talking from the end and not about the absence of it. You're not doing it wrong. You're powerful as hell. So you just need to tighten your mental script, which comes down to mental diet. You guys are powerful. You guys can have whatever the fuck you want. Don't let anyone come in and tell you you can't have what you want. Don't let people do that to you. You guys can do a lot. And I've seen a lot of you guys already like manifesting a lot of great shit. So I'm very proud of you guys for that. And the sky is really the limit because I'm telling you, my life was not like this at all before the law. My life was like so stressful. I was constantly anxious. I was very depressed. I was seriously, every time I had a relationship, I would put men on the pedestal and I would think they were like a piece of crap and everything, and then create a bunch of crappy situations in my relationship, long, long, long hours. And still, my check would not be enough. And to change all of that, for me, like having like a very easy life right now, my life is just like completely different. So you can have whatever you guys want. How to put SP off the pedestal? That's a really good question. How do we put SP off a pedestal? I think there has to be a balance, okay, with specific person because you taking him off the pedestal is not making is not you thinking that he's less than you. I want to make that very clear. Should not be making your SP like so unworthy of you because that can lead to you creating circumstances that you do not want. So I want to make it very clear that taking him off the pedestal doesn't mean you thinking less of them. Okay. And I think some people tend to do that, that they start working on their self concept, but they start to make their specific person less than they are. They start to think like, oh, I'm way better than my SP. My SP is just not worthy of me. My SP needs to heal. My SP needs to get to this level to deserve me. So if you start doing that, then there's no balance, because then your specific person, the version of your specific person that you do want, is not going to show up. So you have to be very careful with that. Getting them off the pedestal just means that you're not going to abandon yourself for a person. Like we discussed earlier with the person that was saying, like, okay, this is how this person is treating me. They're treating me really bad. They're treating me in a way that I don't like. They're doing verbal abuse. They're doing emotional abuse. Having them on the pedestal is you staying in that relationship while you're getting abused, just because you don't want to lose that person. You're afraid that you're no longer going to talk to them or you're not going to be with them, and you rather tolerate and stay there than leave. That's putting a person on a pedestal. Another way of putting a person on a pedestal is you, for example, not enjoying your life until this person shows up the right way. Let's say that your friends are asking you to go out, go to the movies. They're inviting you to something new or something that you are passionate about, but you don't want to do it because your life is consumed by you affirming or only doing things to manifest your specific person back, or manifesting them in the version that you want. And your life is just consumption about them, and in like you trying to change that person, which we all know we can't change anyone because there's no one to change but self. But you're in your mind, you're like, I have to, I cannot go out today because I have to affirm for a certain amount of time. And I have to do this in order for my specific person, the version of my specific person, to be this way. So you put your life on hold for that manifestation. So that's putting a person up on a pedestal. And sometimes a lot of people do that even while they're manifesting their specific person. But yeah, so putting them on a pedestal can it can be various things, but you have to have a balance always when you're manifesting your specific person. That's what I tell most of you guys. Self-concept isn't the only work. There's a lot of other stuff that we need to make sure that our mindset it's in a balanced way. Not only that your body's feeling safe to accept whatever you're manifesting, because that's very important. You need to feel safe to receive that which you need to receive. If you're not feeling safe to be in a relationship, then how are you going to manifest a relationship when you don't feel safe? Or how can you manifest a lot more money if you're not feeling safe? All of those things matter. They matter. So my suggestion is make sure you have a balance. Make sure you have a balance when you're manifesting your specific person. Not putting him on the pedestal doesn't mean that you get to think that they are less than you. All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off. I'm going to put this on YouTube if you guys want to see the replay. Have a wonderful evening. I'll let you guys know when I do another one. Thank you for joining.